Hi, welcome. This is your Hatha Yoga practice. My name is Andrea, and it is a 45-minute practice. So we'll just let everybody pop on. Hi, welcome. Welcome. Hi, Leslie. Welcome, welcome. Send me a wave or an emoji on how you're feeling today. How are we doing today on this Thursday? As we get the notification that we're required to stay home. So it's perfect. We're just going to stay home and do some yoga. Oh my goodness. Life likes to throw us lots of changes these days. So thank you so much for choosing to join me on your mat today. Welcome, welcome. This is your 45-minute Hatha practice. So come on in, settle into a comfortable space in your house. You will need a prop today for the practice. So if you have blocks, those are great. If you don't have blocks, no worries. A rolled up towel, like a small towel, or a small cushion, like a throw pillow from the couch, just something small that you can have that would be roughly the size of the block. Hello, welcome. I hear you, Leslie. I feel we're all going a little crazy these days. Welcome. This is your 45-minute Hatha practice. Let me know how you're feeling and how you're doing. Today I'm in Burlington. The weather kind of matches the mood right now. A little bit gray and overcast. And I know we've been feeling a lot of feels this last year, and then, with this latest stay-at-home policy or whatever it is. So thank you for choosing to work through those feelings and just choosing to show up on your mat or whatever space you're in and just be here and just be in this moment. And that's really all we can kind of be guaranteed right now is this moment. So trying to enjoy it the best we can with what we have. So thank you. Oh, hi, Jade. It's so hard to see the first names and stuff with the user handles. So let me know how you're doing, where you're practicing from. We will begin in a couple minutes. Again, we will be using a prop, a block, towel, small cushion. Welcome, welcome. Again, thanks so much for joining me. If you're just sort of scrolling through, and know that this will be posted or the replay will be available on the main Milvadi Athletic page, so you can always come back to it and practice when you have time throughout your day or later today. Welcome from Waterloo. And so if you're just joining in, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me and showing up to your mat and just being present to the possibilities. So for today's practice, we will be, again, using a prop to help us find our center. So a little bit of a stronger practice today as we work through a little bit of core awareness. As Carl Jung says, who looks outside dreams, and who looks within awakens. So we are going to awaken from the inside and find our center. And as we know, our core not only helps us physically feel stronger and more stable and move a little bit more with ease in through our lives, but also helps with the strength and power and energy and vitality within to help us move through life, and especially during these challenging moments that we might be experiencing. So it goes deeper than just that sort of six-pack abs. So I invite you, as we move through our practice, to just consciously be aware of your center and feel how you move through each posture with control, and just bringing that conscious awareness into that space in our center. So a great way to kind of find our center is through the breath. And so for today's practice, we are going to explore some Kapalabhati breath. You may or may not have practiced this before, and that's all good. It's fairly simple breathing, a little bit different than what we're used to. It focuses on a strong, powerful exhale. So you press the air out by pulling and contracting the abdominals in, and then naturally let the in-breath happen passively. So a strong exhale and a passive inhale. So once we get going, you can start to feel the abdomen contracting and expanding and bringing that heat. So it's also known as the breath of fire, because it brings heat and energy and helps to kind of circulate that through the body, especially if we're doing a lot of sitting, things can become stagnant. So really getting that fire going and energy and prana, as we call it in yoga, through the body. So the only contradictions to this technique would be if you're pregnant, to avoid this, or you've recently had any abdominal surgery, because we are contracting through the abdomen. But try not to overthink it, just do the best you can. Only going to do 10 rounds of it just to start. So start with a big centering breath in, exhale, let it go. And then you're going to begin your 10 rounds. Again, short, sharp exhale. Once you get to that count of 10, just take a nice slow breath in and exhale, let it go. Let that kind of move and rinse through the body. And once you feel that space and that calmness back into the breath, we're going to come to start on our back and grabbing our prop. So bringing the awareness into our core center right from the beginning with an active bridge. So rolling onto your back, bringing the feet to the floor. Grab your prop that you're using and bring it between the inner thighs and squeeze your prop with your thighs. And so that turns on those low, deep abdominal muscles and pelvic floor. All right, and then you're going to bridge and lift the hips up. And once you come to the top of your bridge, I want you to think about sort of 4 parts of your core today. So as we move through each posture. So lifting up through the pelvic floor, engaging and shrink wrapping the rib cage in towards the center, and then firming up through the front and the back side for a neutral pelvis. So think up, in, and then tightening front and back. All right, so this isn't a bit back bend here. We're squeezing our block or our prop. The ribs are drawing in. And if you're doing that, you should start to feel some warming going on in the glutes. And that's good. So we want to turn that back chain on. Holding the top of your bridge, reach the arms towards the ceiling. Grab a hold of the left fingertips and gently pull back for a gentle wrist stretch here. And keep nice, even breath, engaging through the center. Almost dragging the heels towards the glutes to turn on the backs of the legs. And then just switch arms. So hands, grab the right fingertips and gently pull back. Gentle wrist stretch and forearms. And we will have a little fun core-inspired pose near the end of our practice that we can play around with together. And then inhale, release the arms and stretch them overhead, away from the body. And I keep feeling that warming through the back of the body and the glutes. Stay for 3. Use the breath. 2. And 1, lowering the hips down to the floor. Hopefully you felt that. We're going to keep that prop where it is and just lift the legs off the ground. So the knees are roughly stacked over the hips. And then reach the arms towards the ceiling, lift the head and shoulders. And so the shape kind of mirrors our tabletop that we would find on our hands and knees. So again, bring your mind into your center. So what's referred to brain mapping. So really consciously bring that awareness into the core. Now I want you to feel that natural little arch through the back side of the body, so through the lower back. And see if you can maintain that space as we move here. So rather than flattening the back or flaring the ribs, keeping that evenness of that space where it moves away from the floor. Nice slow exhale, reach the arms overhead, tap the toes, and again maintaining that arch and that space. So draw the ribs in, and then inhale, lift up. So going a little bit slower. Of course, that naturally makes this a little bit more challenging because we have to bring a little bit more awareness rather than using momentum. So if you need to take breaks, you can. We're going to do that twice more. Exhale, tap the toes, reach the arms. Again, feel the back sides, firm up through the abdomen, ribs in. And then inhale, lift back up to that reverse table. Once more, exhale with control. Feel the body. Inhale, lifting up, hold here. And this time, draw your knees a little bit closer to the chest. Reach the hands towards the feet like you're curling up into a little ball. Core compression, so that really turns the heat on into the belly. Lift a little higher for 5. For 4, squeeze into that ball. 2 and 1, release everything down. Exhale through the mouth. All right, just waking up the core there. I felt that one. So take that prop out, just set it off to the sides. Bring the feet about hip width or a little bit wider, actually, almost as wide as your yoga mat. Arms, shoulder height, out wide to the sides. And then drop both knees over to the right. Feel that right hip pressing up the left hip pressing up as the left knee draws down towards the floor. Option right ankle to left thigh and gently draw that knee down a little bit further, deepening that stretch through the front of the hip and the abdominal wall. Unhook the foot, bring the knees back into center, drop them over to the left. Again, same thing, press that right hip up so the right knee moves closer to the floor. Deepening this by hooking that left ankle to right thigh and gently draw the knee down a little further. Good, unhook the foot, come back in through center. Knees to chest, hug into a little ball. We're gonna do a little rock and roll forward and back a few times, massaging the spine. And then we're gonna start to think about what it's gonna take for us to come all the way up to a standing position without using our hands. Let's give it a go. You can cross the ankles, use a little momentum, and up we go. Do we make it? And then let the hands go. Find your mountain pose. All right, so hug the inner thighs in. Think of those 4 parts to our center, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Shrink wrap in, firm up front and back. We're gonna move through a slow sun salutation A, pausing along the way. So feel your center. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold forward towards the legs. Soften the knees as much as you need. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen the spine and feel the stretch behind the backs of the thighs. Good, bend the knees, bring the hands down to the floor, and we're gonna step one leg back at a time and find a plank pose. And so you can lessen the intensity or find better stability on the knees. You can take that variation or keep the knees lifted. Dial the hands out to turn on the back, upper back. And then think about that 4 parts to the core. So mind in the core center, engaging up through the backs of the thighs so the pelvis isn't sinking or the hips aren't high and lifted. Stay here for 2 more breaths. And if you have a little bit of shaking going on, know that that's perfectly normal. Breathe through that space. Good, lower the knees to the floor, keep the shoulder heads moving back, and exhale, slowly bend the elbows as we lower down in our chaturanga. Uncurl the toes, drag the chest forward for our cobra pose. Turn the glutes on and open through the chest. Good, exhale, release the chest down. Tuck the toes and think about lifting through the low belly first, and then push into the hands and see if you can press up to your plank on your knees or on the toes. Good, lift the hips up and back, find your downward facing dog, exhale. So balancing that effort and strength with some ease. So pause here for 2 breaths. Option to pedal the feet out. Let's find stillness together. Looking forward, walk the feet to your hands. Come into a forward fold. Inhale, lengthens halfway and lift the chest. Feel that space in the vertebrae. Draw the belly in, exhale, and fold down further. Inhale, rising all the way up to stand this time. Coming into our chair pose, bend the knees, sit back into that invisible chair. And imagine you're hugging your prop between your inner thighs here. And again, if you need to, you can always bring one hand to the front, one hand to the back, and just feel that the hands feel parallel to one another so you have that neutral pelvis. Feel how that turns on through the core center. All right, soften through the shoulders, and we're going to shift our weight a little bit more to the right side and pick up and hover that left foot. See if you can recenter the evenness in your mind. So find that equilibrium even though that left foot is lifted. Warrior 3, as you exhale, slowly extend that left leg straight back. Press the heel away. So your arms can go overhead, or you can bring your hands in a prayer position in your heart center. Good. Hold here in your Warrior 3. Plug the thigh into the hip bone, and then feel the core center lifting and lengthening the spine. Keep engaging through the back of that left thigh. And we're going to imagine that we're walking on a cloud, controlling the descent of that left leg down to the floor. So bend into that right knee slowly with control. Lower, lower, lower. Toes come to the floor. Lift up into your crescent lunge. So bringing that conscious awareness as we move through space here. Take one more breath, lengthen the spine. Exhale, Warrior 2 as we open to the left. Bring that back heel down, chest and hips open to the side. Eye gaze can soften on those right fingertips. And then we're going to bring our left hand to our abdomen here. Again, feel that containment and that awareness. Flip that right palm up, reverse warrior as that right arm reaches up and back, and bring that awareness to the center. So feel the hand on that core. Switching hands, right hand comes to abdomen, left hand or left arm reaches up and forward for our side angle. Again, feel that containment. Once more each side, left hand to belly, right arm reaches up and back. And then to our side angle, right hand to belly, left arm reaches forward, and hold here this time. So option to keep that hand where it is, or reach the right arm alongside the head. Imagine you have your prop between your hands. You're squeezing them towards one another, and turn the chest to the side. So notice if the shoulders rolling down. Stay here. Breathing through that. Good, one more breath. Slowly lower the left hand down to the floor, pick up the back heel, and lower the left knee down to the ground. Taking a twist here in our kneeling lunge, right arm reaches up, turn the chest to the side. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward, and rotate and broaden through the spine and collarbone. Good, one more breath. Slowly release that right hand down to the inside of that foot, and then kind of wiggle that foot a little bit wider. So we're in a lizard lunge variation. Option to keep that back knee on the floor. You can lift it for a little deeper quad and hip flexor stretch, or just stay here where you are. We're going to pause here for a few breaths. So option to even lower the forearms if you feel warm enough, or somewhere in between, right? You can use your props. Hug that right knee in towards the midline, and breathing space into the backside. Take 2 more breaths. You can even add a little rocking forward and back if that feels good for the hips. Slowly inhale, lift the chest. By bringing the hands to the floor, step your left foot forward, coming into your forward fold at the top of your mat. Good. Exhale, bend the knees, come back to our chair pose. Lift the chest. Again, find that neutral position with the pelvis, mind in the center. And then shift weights to the left foot, hover the right just above the floor. Again, find that equilibrium between the right and left sides. Gonna take one more breath. And then on your next exhale, warrior three, as you extend that right leg straight back, straight and strong. So engaging the back of the thigh. Imagine you're pushing your heel to a wall behind you. Draw up through the belly, any arm position, hands in center or overhead. Let's have a wall here. Go, plug that thigh into the hip. And again, feel this firming up through the abdomen and bringing more easeability to the rest of the body. Again, with your mind on controlling the descent, slowly, like a feather, start to lower that right foot. Slow, slow. Toes touch down, find your crescent lunge, lift the chest. And inhale to lengthen, exhale, warrior two, opening to the right side this time. So back heel comes down, bending deeply through that left leg. Think about drawing the heels towards one another and turning on the inner thighs and legs. Coming back to that variation with the right hand to the abdomen, left palm turns, reverse warrior, reach it up and back. Again, bring that containment to your center. Feel how that changes maybe the stretch. Good. Switching arms. Left hand to abdomen, right arm reaches forward, side angle. And then once more, right hand to abdomen, left arm reaches up and back. Big side body stretch. Left hand to abdomen, right arm reaches forward. Hold here this time. So draw the right shoulder back, chest turns. Option two, reach the left arm alongside, squeeze the hands towards one another. Again, notice if that chest is turning down, open it to the side. Find that center, breathe into that space. 2 more breaths. And holding it longer than we want to here. Find that center. Good, right hand comes down, right knee comes down into your low lunge. Taking that twist to the left, arm reaches up, turn and open the chest. Stack shoulders. Left hip draws back, right hip forward. And then get a little bit of deeper rinsing and rotating through that thoracic part of the spine. Good, left hand comes to the floor on that inseam of the left foot. Wiggle it a little bit wider for your lizard pose. Squeeze the knee in towards the center. And again, just staying here. No two sides are the same. We have a dominant side. So it might be a different variation or range on this side, and that's okay. We're just kind of being that observer and making those notes as we move through the practice. Right, that maybe if we have time, we stay a little bit longer on the side that needs a little bit more length and openness. Right, wherever you are, breathe into that space, knee down or lifted. Good, slowly lifting up. I bring the hands to the floor. Step that right foot forwards. Forward folds. Exhale, chair pose. Lift the chest. And this time we're going to bend our knees even more. Our chair is getting smaller and smaller still, and eventually coming all the way down into a seated position and find your Navasana boat pose. So you can hold the backs of the thighs or hands to the floor. Nice long spine. Hug the thighs towards the body, lift through the chest. We're going to move through 3 high to low boats. Again, going a little bit slower so we can bring awareness. Your option for your low boat, you can tap your toes down, have the hands to either side and lean back. Exhale, extend the legs. Bring that lower part of the spine below the navel down to the floor and hollow out the belly. Inhale and lift up. Keep the spine long. 2 more. Exhale, slowly lower or lean back, toes on the floor. And then inhale, lifting up. 1 more. Exhale, hold your low boat pose or that variation. Feel the shake. I call this the shake and bake. So shoulders are lifted, draw the belly in for 5. For 4, use the breath. Strong, powerful breath for 2, 1, knees to chest. Let it go. Whew. And a little rocks and rolls again. And eventually we're going to find that momentum. Cross the ankles, come up to a standing position. Back to our chair. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Shake a little bit through the head, the shoulders. Soften the backs of the legs. Bring your hands to the floor and step back into your downward dog for a moment. Just transitioning here. So in our down dog, again, we're dialing the hands out to turn on through the upper back. Left leg lifts into our 3-legged dog. So think about firming up through the belly, keeping that left hip facing down. So turn the toes to face the floor. And then as you exhale, bring your chest forward between your hands into a single leg plank this time. Again, if you need a variation, lower the right knee to the floor. Again, finding that center here. So firm up through the belly. Notice if the pelvis is dropping or lifting. Again, lifting up, shrink wrap in, firm up front and back. Knee comes to chest, nose to knee, hollow out the belly. Pause for a breath. And then step that left foot through the hands, coming into your lunge. This time, keep that right knee lifted, right hand to the floor or a prop. And then as you exhale, twist and open to the left. Good, left hip back, right hip forward. We're going to transition into our side plank from here. So just pivoting or rolling to that back or right outer pinky side of the foot. Slide your left foot halfway back and then open the hips and chest to the left. So you can stay in this kind of kickstand variation, pressing that left foot into the floor, lifting out of that right side. Or you can stack your feet. Right, or you can even lift that leg. Take it to where you want to go. Shaking is mandatory. Go wherever you are. Take 1 more breath. Feel the power, feel that space. And then we're going to come back into our lunge. So left knee draws towards the chest and step it forward. And then lift that back foot into your lunge. All right, a little different transition into our floating or balancing half moon. So your left hand is going to come to the floor in front of the foot. And then pop that right leg up. And then open your hips to the right side. So you can have your both hands down. Or find your balance and lift that right arm to the sky. Chest opens to the side. Again, mind in the center. Energize that right leg. 1 more breath. Good. Slowing the descent down. Bend that left knee. Slowly lower the right foot down. Hands to the floor. Left leg lifts up and back into a 3-legged dog. And then plant that left foot into your down dog for one centering breath. We're gonna switch sides. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Again, turn the hip down, square the shoulders. And then as you exhale, come forward, keep that foot lifted into your single leg plank. Again, left knee can come down. Again, feel that 4 parts to that center. And then knee to chest, nose. Step that right foot through, coming into your crescent lunge or low lunge. Twisting to the right, left hand stays down, open the chest. Again, take a centering breath here as you draw your right hip back and rotate and open the chest a little bit further. Feel that space. Side plank from here, pivot to that left outer pinky side of the foot, so that back foot. Slide the right foot halfway down your mat and turn the toes, hips and chest to that right side. Now we want to think about activating that left side so we're not dumping it into the shoulder. You can even lower that back knee for a little less intensity. Or stack the feet. Or lift that right leg, even if it's just for a second. You don't know unless we try. Good, right knee to chest, step it back forward, find your lunge, back heel lifts. Right hand to the floor in front, pop that left leg, and find your balance in your half moon. So roll the chest and hips to the left. Engage through that left outer hip and thigh. And again, feel the center. Feel it. One more breath. Slow the descent down. Left foot comes all the way down to the floor. Left hand to the floor, right leg up and back, three-legged dog. And then bring that foot down to the floor. And we're just going to transition to our dolphin pose. So for a moment, Are you warm? We're gonna move into the cutest pose, but don't be fooled by it, is a baby crow. All right, so if you wanna have a look first and then play, you can grab a pillow, but the good thing about baby crow is you're so close to the ground that it takes out the fear factor. Your forehead literally is just like inches off the floor, so you just set it down if you feel like you're gonna tip. Good, bring your forearms down. And then bring your knees high to the backs of the arms. So towards the armpits, the higher the better, because inevitably we can, the knees will slide down the arms. And then we're going to kind of shift our weight forward. So chest reaches forward, not down. And then we're going to press into the forearms. Think of that core compression when we were in that little ball earlier. So really lifting up through the core, and maybe one foot lifts and then we switch, or maybe both feet lift and we squeeze into that little ball. Heels towards the butt. Squeeze, squeeze. Again, we're so close to the ground. If we're going to fall, just bring your forehead to the floor and see if you can lift up. Maybe you get just like a little bit of some space there. And I'll give you another couple breaths to give it a try. If you feel like you just can't get your knees close to your arms, it's just not possible today, it's all good. It's just a practice. This is this little extra stuff, these fun party tricks. So just come down to your child's pose or your sphinx pose, and you can pause there for a couple breaths. And giving it one more minute to explore the possibilities. Again, mind in the core. Squeeze the heels, lift up through the pelvic floor. Uh-oh. Did it pause? Oh no, we're still here. All right. Are we still here? It said it lost my connection, so I'm hoping we're still here. Anyways, come down into child's pose. Let's take a few breaths there. Oh, okay, good. We're still here. Just come down into child's pose, knees together, knees separated. Just taking a few slow breaths. Let your forehead come down to the floor, or you can stack the arms and rest the forehead on the arms. Just slow the breath down. Right, move that prana through the body. Good, one more breath here. Just lifting the hips off the legs for a moment. Just taking a puppy stretch, so the hips are roughly over the knees. Walk the hands forward and just melt either the forehead or the chin or the chest down towards the floor, giving some space into the upper back and spine. Soften through your heart center. One more breath. And then lifting the head up, walk the hands to the body. We're just going to have a seat. Kind of stretch things out and cool things down here in a seated position. So let's start with the right leg straight, left knee bent, like a half butterfly. The left arm opens up. And then as you exhale, kind of take a little side bend to the right, stretching and lengthening through that left side waist and abdominals. And less about reaching for the toes here. Just feel that space. One more breath. And then slowly lifting the head up. Plant that left foot to the floor, cross it over that right thigh. That right leg can stay straight, or you can bend it as well and kind of tuck it under the body, both sit bones down. Just taking a twist here as the right arm reaches up. Exhale, turn towards that right leg. So kind of lift the abdomen up and over the thigh. Either hug the thigh or hook the elbow across. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, and then as you exhale, turn and open that left shoulder. Good. Inhale to lengthen, just unfold and open to the right for one breath. Draw the right chest and shoulder back. And then just come back into center. And we're just going to switch that top leg. So a little kind of fun one for the brain. You're going to kind of walk yourself around to that right side, back to the side. Keep walking around to the back of your mat. And then plant the right foot down on the floor. And that left leg should be on the bottom. If that just didn't make sense, just switch the legs. It's all good. An option to straighten that left leg. Nice tall spine. Left arm reaches up. Exhale, twisting and turning to the right. Again, either hooking the elbow across or hugging it in. Find that length in the spine first. And then exhale to softly deepen the twist and rotation. And it slowly unfolds back to the right, open. And then release back forward. We're going to straighten the left leg. This time, right knee bent. Right arm reaches up. And then exhale, little side bend to the left, reaching and lengthening through that right side waist and hips. Especially after a lot of core work, the hips can be a little bit tight. So just give them some space with the breath here. And slowly lifting yourself up. Straighten the legs. And one more little control as we lower down onto our back. So legs straight, dig the heels in, hollow out the belly. And one vertebrae at a time, start to lower yourself down, maybe without your hands. See if we can do that for a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Just the low back touches first. 5, 4, 3, upper back, 2, head and shoulders. Let it go. Take a nice full breath in. Stretch arms and legs long. Stretch out of the waist. And then wiggle both feet over to the right side or the right bottom corner of your mat. And then do the same thing for the arms. Wiggle the arms over to that right top corner side. Keep the left shoulder blade on the floor. So if you were to look down at yourself, you'd be in this sort of C shape or arch position with that left side. Left ankle crosses over the right. Press the hips to the side and deepen that IT band stretch. And uncross the ankles, wiggle yourself back into midline, and then just switch sides. So shuffle the feet over to the bottom left side, and then reach the arms over to that left top corner. Again, the shoulders stay open, so that right shoulder blade is down. Right ankle crosses on top of the left. And you can even either hold that right wrist or just hold the forearms overhead. Feel the breath coming in and out through that right side body. And then slowly unhook the ankles. Wiggle yourself back into the midline. And then exhale, Shavasana. So just finding a comfortable spot here for our final couple minutes together. So legs can be separated or even the feet on the floor, knees bent. And for the next few breaths, just be the witness to your breath and your body right now. And letting go of any attachment or thoughts that form. And just surrender. And to be present in this moment is truly a gift and a practice all on its own. So the more we guide ourselves into this moment, into our center, the more that we can truly calm the mind and allow for changes to manifest only now. Take 3 more breaths, finding your center. And then take 1 more nice full breath in. Let the abdomen rise. And then big exhale, sigh through the mouth. Slowly rolling yourself over to one side. Lingering for as long as it feels good. And then when you're ready to come up, just gently pressing yourself up into a seated position. And just closing our practice together. And take a full breath in. Seal the hands together in that Anjali Mudra or prayer position, and then resting them in our heart center. So from my heart to yours, thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to guide you through this practice. Namaste. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. You can even put them into the comments after the video is posted, or if you have requests for future weeks now that we're going to be at home for a while. Thank you so much for being here and choosing to move your body. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.